Thank you very much, Councillor Hills. Can I now call on Councillor Daniel Newman to give his maiden address, please?
E nā iwi o te motu, I rau rangatira mā, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa. Your Worship, I begin by congratulating you, sir, on your election to the office of Mayor of Auckland and wish you and Mary and your family the very best. I congratulate Councillor Cashmore on his appointment as Deputy Mayor. I congratulate all members of the governing body elected and also every member of our local boards on their recent success. I acknowledge in particular my ward colleague, Sir John Walker. On the 31st of July 1976, Sir John powered away from Ivo van Dam and Paul Wellman to win the gold medal in the men's 1500 metres final at the Montreal Olympics. That same year, around 5 weeks later, I was born at National Women's Hospital and my then 19-year-old solo mother, Kathy Cran, raised me on her own. I've never met my real dad. And that's an all too familiar story experienced by many of my constituents. That the good people of Manurewa Papakura can elect both Sir John and myself is a testament to our cosmopolitan tradition. I would not be here but for the tremendous and empowering support of many people, and I want to acknowledge the presence of my good friend Angela Dalton, who is here today, and indeed the countless other friends of a lifetime. Manurewa Papakura is a complex and contrasting community of people who have come here from all parts of the globe. We are a hard-working people and we value family, whānau and ainga. Your Worship, we also value Easter Sunday as a time for loved ones, for fellowship and rest. I hope to use my incumbency to promote more young people, more women, more Māori, Pasifika and ethnic New Zealanders and support their promotion to elected public office on merit. That is what I believe, Your Worship, will be required if we are to drive greater participation in this Council's decision-making processes. Your Worship, politics is not easy, and I want to wish my predecessor, Callum Penrose, his wife Carol and their family my very best wishes for their future endeavours. My predecessor sought to be a good and diligent representative, and I thank him for his service. Your Worship, I hope to use this term to contribute to a transition to a workable and credible system of political leadership around this table, as well as co-governance with our local boards. There must be, in my view, a cultural change to facilitate real change, which is driven by both political and by executive leadership. This body of people, the elected leadership, must shape the strategic direction and policies of this council, and that in turn must inform our CCOs. And local boards need to have responsibility to implement these strategies and policies, complemented by an enabling long-term plan, asset management plans, and the ability to pursue local procurement. Our local boards need to help shape our placemaking, and I believe that we should welcome the co-governance model. It is a means to drive public confidence and to restore trust. Your Worship, growth is a vital business driver. However, we have a duty of care to balance the focus on growth with two other vital business drivers, the renewal of our assets and levels of service. Our constituents, hard-working people who represent this region's dynamism, deserve value for every dollar of rubber spent. Progress moving forward should not mean the decline in the standard of living available to the people of Tāmaki Makaurau. Your Worship, one of the greatest challenges facing my community is the plight of many of our Year 9 cohort students who are unable to cope with secondary curriculum because of insufficient standards of literacy and numeracy. Too many of our young people, many of whom are disengaged Māori and Pasifika, are struggling and indeed failing in education. Now, I believe that the solution will be found in the home, and it will be found in the classroom, and it will be found in trade training and employment pathways. It will also be found in business enterprise. So I want to use my time in public life to advocate for certain things. I will use my time as a councillor to advocate for and to help facilitate greater childhood participation in early childhood learning, to provide for better preschool learning and pathways for our young people as they move forward in their compulsory education. I will be supporting my local teachers to adopt a more integrated curriculum, which is going to be very necessary to improve the foundation literacy and numeracy skills that are taught to our children in Maniarewa and Papakura. And I will seek opportunities to facilitate family literacy. I'll also be an enthusiastic supporter of organisations like the Graham Dingle Foundation to support the rollout of great initiatives like KiwiCam within Maniarewa and Papakura schools. Your Worship, I will be a busy representative for the people who elected me to serve, and I want to thank them for their confidence and hope to do them proud. My prayers and love to my mother Kathy and to Tony, to Angela, to George and Jan, and to May, who is forever in my heart and in my prayers. I feel truly blessed for the love and the friendship of so many. Politics is a noble tradition and service is a privilege. I aim to do justice to my time here for however long that may be. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Newman. Can I now call on Councillor Greg Sayers to present his maiden address?
Mr. Mayor, I stand before you today very proud to be representing Rodney, being put here by the people of Rodney in this third term of Auckland Council. I am honoured to be addressing the governing body for the first time with an eye on serving all of Auckland. I congratulate you on your appointment to the mayoralty. Aucklanders are looking to be led into a new era with a sense of common purpose and collective responsibility by the Mayor, the councillors, the CCOs and the local boards. Not forgetting you, Mr Town, and the council family group as well. This is an exciting time, an opportunity for a fresh start. I also wish to congratulate my fellow councillors and the local board members across Auckland on their election to office. Mr Mayor, I believe our mandate is clear. Council must live within its financial means. This means we must stop the wastage and overspending. If rate adjustments are to be kept low, making significant cost savings and gains in productivity are the two vital levers towards achieving this goal. Regionally, Auckland faces many challenges requiring our stewardship, ranging from over-regulated building consents and controls to infrastructure funding to knowing what a successful transport network will look like and much more. Mr Mayor, Rodney was at the epicentre of the 17% mistrust and confidence rating of Auckland Council. Of all the wards right across Auckland, Rodney residents had the least favourable view of council. Now this is salvageable and not expensive to achieve, and I'm about to explain how. My constituents are confused why Auckland has rezoned the townships of Kimyu and Warkworth as Auckland's northern growth centres, which already have SHAs popping out of the ground, without structure plans being in place ahead of building consents being issued. In the absence of structure plans, private plan changes can knock out sites where schools, water infrastructure, roading, broadband and power should be going, as well as social service providers. Government's responsibility to fix the Hill Street intersection at Warkworth, the State Highway 16 congestion at Kimyu, are able to be factored into structure plans, allowing increased justification and leverage for these particular projects to be funded by central government, Let's not pass up those opportunities. Rail to Kimyu and the opening up of commercial and industrial land nearby so people don't have to commute will also be within scope. Mr Mayor, I'm very conscious that you understand this well. You already know structural plans are a key concern. My intention now is simply to bring the solution on how to improve council satisfaction levels to the attention of all the governing body members. And this is done by including in next year's 2017-18 annual plan the requirement for these structure plans to be completed. The dollar investment is ridiculously cheaper than any public relations campaign. The other area beyond these towns is the rural sector's complete frustration. This is a territory where the NAG breakaway group is strongest. The council service they have been asking for year after year is for the roads to be made safe. Add to this the news, which I sincerely hope you have been made aware of, that dust particles generated from unsealed roads were classified by the World Health Organization as carcinogenic earlier this year. I trust last term's councillors were also previously briefed that these findings have been formally presented to our DHBs and those board of directors. Mr Mayor, we have no choice but to crack on and seal the most hazardous dust-producing roads under our health and safety obligations. The NZTA has been quick to act, notifying all transport asset managers nationally, local government New Zealand and the Office of the Auditor General about how to prioritise the danger levels of these roads and the solution. And in short, this will come at a regional seal extension investment of $10 million a year for the next 10 years. Again, not an outrageous capital investment to solve a newly recognised health issue while dramatically increasing all Aucklanders' confidence in council to make the right decision. So, in closing on a slightly more positive note, it is important for all of us to remember we do not win elections on our own. We win because of the support of our family who make many sacrifices to see us elected. I want to thank my family and my friends for their tolerance and support. My beautiful sister Christina is here today. Thank you, Christina. I would also like to thank the wonderful people in Rodney who helped me on my campaign. There are too many of you to thank individually because, as with any successful campaign, it relies on a huge team. I hope all of you will continue to feel free to give me your advice during the next 3 years, as there is no substitute to having good people on the ground telling me what is actually going on in our ward and city. Thank you especially to the voters of Rodney who turned out in significant numbers. Mr Mayor, I am in the service of my city, in the service of my fellow citizens, and in the service of my country. There could be no greater honour. Thank you. This is my maiden speech.